The King's Landing from Game of Thrones is set in the Croatian city of Dubrovnik. Because I am so excited about Season 8 coming up, I had to get me a tour, and being a massive Game of Thrones fan, House Baratheon all the way. Obviously I don't want to take away from the tour experience, so I'm just going to give the highlights. So we met under the red umbrella, and then we met our tour guide for the day, and he was awesome. He's the guy with the bald head and the beard. Really recommend him, really fun. And he's the one that's going to show us around all the sites of Dubrovnik. And here we go. One of the first stops, and one of the most famous stops on the walk. So eagle-eyed viewers might be able to recognise this next location. This is Blackwater Bay. This is where many exciting things happened. And as you're beginning to notice, there are certain things missing and certain things that do look the same. This is obviously where Littlefinger and Sansa had their conversation very at the end of the pier. You can also start to compare how much of CGI. So he was a bloody good tour guide, I can't recommend him enough, but however I have muted him because you do need to experience this for yourself. And then right next to Blackwater Bay you obviously have this, which has got into a bit of disrepair because it hasn't been used since the first series, and if you remember, where Robert Baratheon's love children were killed off. The reason why most tourists won't see Game of Thrones being shot is because it's filmed over the winter periods when Dubrovnik doesn't have many tourists. Then we entered Fort Lawrence, which is on the right, but it's actually used as different locations in Game of Thrones for multiple different famous events. I think there's been a wedding, some fight scenes, that general thing. But as we made our way to the top of Fort Lawrence and we look out over Dubrovnik, you can see they've kind of taken liberties with the CGI there, but you know, it's a fantasy realm, and you know, this is what you're looking at the base right now for everything to be added on top. This is also the view looking down at Blackwater Bay. Fort Lawrence has been used for many different locations. So one of the most notable is where Littlefinger confronts Cersei and says, hey, you know, knowledge is power. And then Cersei says, actually, power is power. As you can see from the board he's holding, there's another thing that's happening here. I can't remember what happened here, but it's very clever how they've used the same locations from multiple different scenes. And as you can see out into the distance, there's Lokrum Island. We'll be exploring that in another video. And there is more of Dubrovnik. This is actually one of the first locations when you enter Dubrovnik, and it was also used for filming one of the hate scenes where they're all shouting very nasty things at someone and following them through the tight streets of Dubrovnik, because there's still just one final big location. Some people might not be able to tell what this is, but this is a very iconic scene in Game of Thrones, especially when it's viewed from the other angle. Because this is the scene where Cersei has to walk naked down the stairs into the crowd. And that completes our Game of Thrones tour. It's a very short tour, a very small tour, but a very good tour. That man was the best tour guide I've ever had, and yeah, you really do need to experience the whole place and the city for yourself. Have a good day, bye bye!